because I've been so independent and I've like grown on my own and I've moved to different cities by myself.
Yeah, so strong and independent. We've done our traveling. We've been through a whole bunch of dudes. Right? This is exactly what I'm saying. This is why it triggers this woman, right? Is because men don't want to commit to a 30-plus-year-old strong and independent woman who has traveled through multiple cities. Like, we all know what that means. Come on now. Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we are going to be kicking it off with a clip from this woman right here who says, I can't do it anymore. She can't keep dating guys. She is sick and tired of being used as a situationship. She is sick and tired of being used for fun only. And she's wondering, you know, where have all of the good men gone? Where have all of the men who want relationships? Where have all of these guys gone? Because she can't seem to find her Prince Charming. So let's take a listen as she cries. As she gets a little bit upset. As always, guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
Date in 2023. I don't understand where the hell this is going to. I'm not made for situationships, whatever the fuck that means. I'm not made to be I don't know. I'm made to be a wife and a mom.
As we hear the cat meow in the background, no, you are not made to be a wife. You are not made to be a mother. Because if you were not interested in having casual relations with men, then you wouldn't be having them. Nobody is forcing you to go out there and chase the bad boys. Nobody is going out there and forcing you to do these things. Guys, this is what regretting hookup culture looks like. And it's not really regret, right? It's just annoyance that she can't go out there and have her fun with these guys and also get commitment from them, right? We want to be able to go out there. We want to chase the bad boys, the really attractive, tall men with tattoos who are dark and handsome, right? You want to go chase these men, but these guys, they won't commit, you know? They won't give her a relationship, and she's not happy, right? And she's on her way, guys. She has started the cat collection. It begins, okay? She's at 1 out of 10, or I don't know how many she has, but she's on her way to that cat collection. She is not happy. Let's run it back and continue.
Made to be I don't know. I'm made to be a wife and a mom. I want my man to come home to me. I want to have dinner cooked. I want laundry done. I want to do all that. That's what I'm made for. That's what God made me for.
I love how they always bring this in, right? Like, oh, I want to be a wife now. I want to do the chores. I want to do the things that I am quote unquote supposed to do. You didn't want to do this crap when you were partying in your 20s. Right? You had no interest in doing laundry for a man. You had no interest in cooking for a man or caring about a man. What you wanted to do was go out there and have your fun. Now, you've had your fun. You are more than welcome to go and have your fun, guys. We are in a liberated, progressive society. Okay, this is encouraged. You can go out there. You can get with as many dudes as you want. You can party. You can do all of these sorts of degenerate things. And you're welcome to do that. Okay, but what these women want to do, guys, is they want to do this until they get to 30. And then it starts to sink in like, oh, crap, I've been wasting my time. I want to be a wife. I want to be a girlfriend. I want to be a mother. And a lot of guys, you know, you're pushing 35. They'll look at you and they'll say, too late. You never wanted me when I was in my 20s. When you were in your 20s, you never gave a damn about me. Right? And this is the problem for a lot of modern women is they go out there, they try and secure commitment from men. And the men are just like, you never cared about me. Not once did you look my way when we were in our 20s, but now I've got money, or now I've been hitting the gym for quite a while. Now you want to have a relationship with me. No, thank you.
Me for. I know people are going to be like, it's 2023. Women don't need to be doing that. I want that. I fucking want that. I want my man to come home from a hard day's work and the house cleaned and the dinner cooked and dishes done and laundry done and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come home to me and I want my man to come h I want happiness. I want to take care of my man that takes care of me.
Yeah, guys, you know, nothing says femininity quite like swearing and masculinity. Am I right? These are the same women, guys, who, you know, they wonder why men are not wifing them up. They wonder why they can't find a long-term partner. And here you have a woman trying to convince you that she's feminine, that she wants to care about you and look after you. But she's swearing while she does it on TikTok, no less. Okay, it's just really funny that these women can't seem to grasp that men don't want masculine women, and they don't want to date masculine women who are especially over the age of 30. Okay, you could have gotten away. Here's the funny thing, okay? Women like this, they can get away with being masculine in their 20s because they can kind of skirt by on their looks, right? They've got their looks to carry them through, and men will still give them attention, okay? But the problem is when the looks start to fade, men realize you have no personality, you're not feminine at all, and they're just going to, you know, have some fun with you and be on their way, okay? But let's continue into a clip from the next woman here, guys, and see what this woman thinks.
Oh, that's a red flag, or people tend to look at people who have never been in a relationship and think, oh, that's a red flag, or what's wrong with them. Literally yesterday, I was watching a live on TikTok and someone asked the question and they're like, if you're 30 or 31 and you haven't been in a relationship, like, what do you think about that? And the guy on there said something along the lines of, oh, if you're like not being approached, like, you know, what is the issue? I think some people's instant perception is like, oh, they've never had a boyfriend, like no one likes them. Or like,
you know what my first perception of these girls is, guys, right? This woman would probably try and convince you of the same thing, okay, which is that, you know, she's just been focusing on her career or, you know, some other nonsense, okay? She's never had a real relationship. But now she's looking for something serious, and you should be empathetic of their situation. My question is, why haven't you had a boyfriend? Because you damn well haven't been celibate the whole time. Right? This is lying to men 101, okay? What you have to do when you lie to men is you have to sell men purity. You have to give men the idea, the false idea, that you haven't been going around with a whole bunch of different men. That's where the lie comes in here, because dudes don't want to buy, okay? They don't go out here looking for a girlfriend in the hopes that she has been with 20 other men. In the same way that if you go and buy a car, men don't want something with thousands upon thousands of miles on it, and they're going to pay a premium, right? Because let's be honest, men are required to invest in women. Okay, particularly long-term relationships. You know, the guy's typically responsible for the finances. He has to lead the house, whatever the case may be. Guys don't want to invest their finances. They don't want to invest themselves in women who have been around the block, because those women quite obviously make bad wives and they make bad girlfriends.
and the guy on there said something along the lines of, oh, if you're like not being approached, like, you know, what is the issue? I think some people's instant perception is like, oh, they've never had a boyfriend, like no one likes them. Or like that person has some crazy red flags. I promise you, there are people who are in relationships and who have been in relationships who have plenty of red flags themselves. We're all different. We all have different forms of trauma.
Okay, so this woman is triggered because the man viewed women who are 30 plus years of age without relationships or who haven't been in relationships as a red flag. It absolutely is. Okay, and the reason why it's a red flag is because if you're trying to convince me that you're 30 plus years of age and you haven't been screwing around with dudes for the last decade, you're going to have a really hard time convincing me of that. And you're going to have a very hard time convincing men of that particular lie.
Let's be for real. Some people are in relationships and have been in a lot of relationships because they don't like to be alone. It's just weird to me because just because you've been in a relationship or have been in multiple relationships doesn't mean you're going to be like a better partner than someone who hasn't been. And just because someone hasn't been in a relationship doesn't mean that like no one wants to date them. I myself, I haven't really been putting myself out there the last couple of years. And like I've talked on here before, a lot of it has to do with how I feel about myself and my weight. I honestly think for me, never having had a boyfriend has been really good for me. Growing up, I was very shy, timid, introverted.
Okay, let me pause it there because I don't really give a crap. Let me just touch on this for a second because this woman is clearly diverting the issue here. The issue is how many dudes have you been with? But she doesn't talk about that, right? That's why men have an issue with this. But she's trying to dodge the bullet here. You see what I'm saying? He goes on here to say, well, you know, it might be a red flag because nobody wants you. No man ever thinks like this, right? No man will go, oh, wow, nobody wants that woman. I don't want that woman either, right? That's a woman thing. That is not a male way of thinking, okay? Guys don't look at a woman and then disqualify her because there aren't enough other men who are also interested in her. If anything, it's actually a bad thing. If you're someone, for example, if you're a woman and you have thousands of Instagram followers, that's not quite the flex you think it might be to a man. A lot of guys will look at that and go, yeah, I'm not touching that, especially in a relationship capacity, right? A lot of women think that this status, right, they think that all the dudes chasing them is some sort of flex. It absolutely isn't. And I would argue it actually puts men off. Now, opposite, right, a lot of women won't give you the time of day unless other women are interested in you. Right? This is a woman's way of thinking, guys, right? It's called pre-selection. Guys have no interest in pre-selected women. This doesn't make you more attractive. If anything, it can make you less attractive to a guy. Nobody gives a damn about this. No man thinks like this. Like, it might be like one dude out of 1,000. Who the hell cares, right? But on average, men don't care how many other men are interested in you. If anything, it just makes you look bad.
Very much a pushover. Still can be like a little bit of a pushover, but because I've been so independent and I've like grown on my own and I've moved to different cities by myself.
Yeah, so strong and independent. We've done our traveling. We've been through a whole bunch of dudes. Right? This is exactly what I'm saying. This is why it triggers this woman, right? Is because men don't want to commit to a 30-plus-year-old strong and independent woman who has traveled through multiple cities. Like, we all know what that means. Come on now.
I feel like I've really learned like who I am, what I want, what I'm looking for. And because I enjoy my alone time so much, I know I'm not going to settle for someone that I just like don't really like. So yeah.
Okay, so let me wind this back, guys, because this is the moment, right, that this woman tells on herself, and this is where a lot of women tell on themselves, right? Because it's all the same thing. Let's run this back. Let's see if we can catch this.
Wait, I honestly think for me, never having had a boyfriend has been really good for me. Growing up, I was very shy, timid, introverted, very much a pushover. Still can be like a little bit of a pushover, but because I've been so independent and I've like grown on my own and I've moved to different cities by myself, I feel like I've really learned like who I am, what I want, what I'm looking for. And because I enjoy my alone time so much, I know I'm not going to settle for someone that I just like don't really like. So yeah.
Okay, so the translation here, guys, is the same translation that it always is when these women get to 30. You oftentimes you get this like spiel, right, of, oh, I've done my healing, I've had my journey, I've done my personal growth, right? I've read my self-help books and whatever garbage they're trying to sell to you, right? And then it's always followed by, well, having done all of this, now I know what I want. Right? It's all about me, me, me. I've gone through this journey, which typically means a bunch of men. And now I'm ready to settle down and I know exactly what I want and I'm not going to settle. So all of the other men, they had fun with me, they used me, they tossed me to the side. But now I'm looking for a relationship and I will not settle for anything less than a man who pays full price for me. Right? He has to give me, he has to be attractive. He has to be romantic. He has to be caring, but at the same time, he has to be stoic, right? And like the list just goes on and on of nonsense that men have to provide. Top of that list, guys, typically is how attractive are you? You know, what does your face look like? How tall are you? How much muscle do you have? And then we can start to talk about, okay, he's got those things. Let's talk about finances, right? And then so on. Excuse me, I just muted my microphone, right? And then so on and then so forth. Okay, so men have to do all of this because she knows what she wants now that she's 30. Meanwhile, guys, like, let's be honest about this. The man has been completely ignored all throughout his 20s. So you have these women, right, who grow up side by side, these men, 20, 21, they're both 21, both 22, etc., etc. They get to their 30s, and now the women want commitment from those same men that they've ignored that entire time. Like, it's just not how that works.
I can see why people who haven't been through this and who have had past relationships might think it is a red flag for someone to have never been in a relationship, because society has taught us that if you are in a relationship, you are like worthy. So yeah, I think we just need to be not so quick to judge. Like I said, we all have our traumas. That's my rant for the day.
Right, so before we continue into this next woman who is clinically insane, that's my diagnosis. It's very funny in these videos. I always see the same thing being told, right? And the thing is, you're not allowed to judge me, right? Men, women, you're not allowed to judge me. I have a different story. I have a unique story, okay? Every single one of these women thinks that they are the unique case, and you're not allowed to judge them. I would encourage men, right? If, you know, for those of you who are still watching at this point in the video, be judgmental, guys. Right? What are you going to do? Like, not be judgmental? If you're ever going to go out there and have a girlfriend or wife, which a lot of guys are not even interested in doing anymore at all, mind you. But if you're going to, you damn well better be super judgmental. And I don't even recommend getting married these days to men. I really don't. But these women, they don't want you to judge them, right? They want you to take them and pick them up and save them, right? Take her in, save her, be a good boyfriend, and then a husband, and then she's going to take you for your money. No, absolutely not. Judgment is a very useful thing to men, and that's why a lot of these women want to remove it, because if you use judgment, you realize that they're not worthy of commitment at all. Let's continue into this next clip here, and you already know this is going to be a terrible one. So we have a story time from this woman.
I have a story time. So I made like a story time about this a little bit ago, how me and my situationship talking stage ended. Well, we got back together, but like he told me, you know, he was sorry and it was all his fault, and then he told me he loved me, which I'm a freaking sucker for that. But so we were good till I went to Florida, and like while I was in Florida it was fine until like the last couple of days. Like he would call me and tell me goodnight and have fun, like all this stuff. And then I get a text and he was like, well, what makes you think this will work? Like the fuck. So, you know, the me I was like listing off all how this could work, like do. And then he's like, yeah, this isn't gonna work.
It's an evil world we live in.
Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode.
To sum it up, pretty much, we didn't talk the whole last few days of my vacation, besides when he would just like call me randomly just to like scream at me, and I would yell at him back. But then I go home and I haven't heard from him for like in a few days, and then I get a call while I'm with a group of my friends. I get a call from him, so I go to the bathroom and I answer the call, and he immediately starts yelling, so I start break down crying. And listen to this. He goes off saying this, that, I'd never choose you, like you're gonna be single forever, calling me all types of names, just screaming at the top of his lungs.
Let me just pause it right here. Okay, I don't know if what this woman is, or what she's saying about this man is true, but this woman's a nut job. Absolute nut job. Okay, in a situationship with a guy, goes back to him, constantly yelling, constantly fighting. She's traveling. Right, she's clearly someone who is addicted to the drama, like a lot of these women are. They're addicted to the drama, they're addicted to the ups and downs. Listen to how excited she is to tell this story of absolute garbage. Okay, and this is why a lot of guys are just not interested in dating, right? They don't want to deal with the headache, they don't want to deal with the drama, they don't want to deal with women like this. They would just rather have their peace and quiet. I know guys who would literally rather go fishing than talk to any woman like this. Like they would rather do anything else than to talk to women like this. It's not even a competition, right? Dudes will be out here golfing, they'll be out here fishing, they'll be out here, you know, working on their cars, whatever the case may be, to get away from women like this. And it's sad, you know, guys, it absolutely is sad that we have a generation of people who are so damn narcissistic and entitled that they just go around doing nonsense like this. And then they post it to TikTok like people actually give a crap. Right? Imagine if you're this woman's like future boyfriend and you see this. You'd be like, what the hell is this, man?
And I'm just listening. I'm not talking because that's just how I've always been. And when I'm getting yelled at, I'm just gonna sit there in silence. But like, I was yelling a few things back at him here and there, and he was talking about, that's why I got your best friends text me, and I was like, that's why I got your teammates text me. Like, I was just going off.
Yeah, super cringe. Very, very cringe behavior. But hey, if this man is as bad as you say, then maybe you're both made for each other. Have fun. Right? Addicted to the drama, addicted to the headaches, addicted to the nonsense.
But I would hang up the phone, and he would call me back. And he called me like 30 times. I'm not kidding. Like, every time I'd hang up, he'd call me. Or
I also think if you guys caught that that slip of the voice earlier, she was sitting here saying, I think she was out with another dude, honestly. This woman's probably cheating on this guy the whole time, mind you. Even though you can't even call it cheating, actually, because they're not even in a relationship. That's how stupid this whole thing is.
if I didn't answer, he'd call me. Which my friends ended up all coming into the bathroom because they could hear me screaming and crying. And they made me put it on speakerphone. That was humbling. But it got so bad to the point where I just ignored him for the rest of the night. And then the next day, he called me at like 3 in the morning and I didn't answer it. And then he texted me goodnight after that and was like, sorry, I didn't mean to call. Weird. And then he texted me and he was like, any last words you want to say? Like, say it with your chest. And I'm a nice person, so I was like, you know, the times we had were great, but I really don't appreciate being talked to like that, so yes.
Yeah, guys, she's a kind person. She's an empathetic and caring soul. This is the story that you get through every single one of these videos. I think we're done, and we're going to move on to the last clip here. But I mean, this is just kind of like the nonsense, part and parcel, the nonsense that everyone is told, right? I've always viewed it like if you have to say that you're like a nice person, you're an empathetic person, I think the most awful people I have ever met in my life have always said that. I don't think I could actually name a time where you've got someone who's really awful that I know or know of, right? And they've never proclaimed themselves to be like a kind and caring and compassionate person. It's always those people who think that they're above other people, who think that they're just so moral and all of this nonsense, who always turn out to be the worst kinds of people. But let's continue with the last clip of today's episode.
Alright, so this motherfucker, right? And I never thought I would be able to block him. And the other day, I literally blocked him. Like, blocked, deleted everything on Instagram, text message. Oh, you want to contact me? Sorry, you can't. And I am just so proud of myself. I never ever thought I would come to the point where I would be able to block him. Like, he was one that, like, I always had, like, a weakness for, always. But, no. Like, you ain't gonna disturb me on my phone. This is my phone. What the f***? Like, I ain't gonna be bothered on my own phone. Like, what?
I'm gonna throw up, man. What are we, like 15 seconds into this video, and I don't think I can handle anymore, right? So notice the theme in these videos, guys, is you have women who are chasing dudes who they find attractive, and then the dudes are just like giving them a bunch of nonsense, and then the girls are sitting there loving it. They're recording TikTok videos about it. And then all of the men who, you know, have common sense about them, they're just like, no thank you. They're just watching this whole thing burn and fall to the ground, and they laugh at it. They think you're stupid. Right? I'm just relaying the message, right? A lot of guys, they think you're stupid.
So I blocked. And I'm so proud of myself. And the peace I feel is unreal. Like I just feel so happy.
Yeah, I can feel the peace. I can feel the happiness, you know, resonating from this video that I'm viewing, guys. Isn't that what you're getting? The feeling of peace, the feeling of serenity. That's what I'm feeling right now for sure from this video. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. What do you think of some of these women's dating story? What do you think about this one right here who says that she can't do it anymore and she just wants to be a wife? Let us know down in the comments. As always, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.